Reality doesn't respond to what you want externally. It responds to how you feel internally. And wealth is created based on your frequency that you are signaling in the universe. So today I want to go deeper into how to activate a frequency that creates wealth and abundance in your life. And most people are focused on manifestation. They are not focused on their energy and their frequency. And the truth is, everything in universe is energy and frequency. So we want to understand on a micro level what is going on that creates that wealth and abundance in our life from a universal perspective, from divine perspective, so that our life become easier and abundance flow effortlessly. And the process that I'm going to share with you, it is I call the wealth glitch. The wealth glitch is really about you finding the glitch in the matrix by shifting your frequency in your desired state of being in order to attract what you want. And if that is money, wealth, abundance, if that is freedom, if that is you shifting into the identity of you that would make you feel proud about yourself, then this is exactly what we are going to go deeper into so that you know what is missing, why things haven't been working out, why wealth and abundance is harder for you. Once you understand the wealth glitch, you will understand creation of wealth and abundance. So, in order to shift your frequency in wealth, we must understand the source, the order of creation, how creation works. Because once you understand the order of creation, you understand who you are. Because it is so key to understanding the essence of your being. Because the essence of your being, that's what creates the overflow. That's what makes manifestation faster. That's what bends reality. And that's how you quantum leap. So the order of creation, knowing that we came from source, God, the creator, divine, right? And before anything was created, everything was frequency and energy. And then the universes, the planets, the galaxies were created. And then the human creation occurred. And human creation occurred because the universe wanted to express itself through a physical space. So, this is why human creation happened, because the universe wanted to express itself through the physical time and space. And the only way it could happen is through the human creation. And this is why, as a human being, we have the divine essence within ourselves, because the divine essence is the key for you to realize that who you are. You're not just a human body. You are a multi-dimensional being vibrating on different frequencies in a quantum field. You just see your physical body on this planet, this flesh and blood, you see it on a physical level, but you are not just physical body. You are operating on different space and time on a quantum level, and you are just experiencing this physical reality. And this is why the order of creation is important in order to understand wealth and abundance, because most people, they don't understand. They just work hard. They just think they need to become successful. They just need to make money. It's none of that. It's none of that. It's the universe expressing itself through you. So when the universe is expressing itself through you, then you are not just the one that goes to work, that pays its bill, that just survive. Because when you operate from that level, you are disconnected from your true essence. You're disconnected from the source, because you think the life is about paying your bills, having a house, getting married, having children, and that's about it. That is not the full expression of you. The full expression of you, you realizing that you have different version of you operating on different frequency on a quantum level. So, this is why you have to understand the divine essence is within you. And once you can tap into the divine essence, the wealth and abundance is just a byproduct of your being that recognizing who it is. It is recognizing it is not just the human, it is the infinite potential, infinite energy expressing itself through human body. And when you understand the depth of that, you will quit suffering, you will quit surviving, you will quit thinking you are just this person who is not worthy, not enough. You will realize what a beautiful things that are happening through you. And this is why I'm going to go deeper into the wealth signal, how that works. How can you tap into that wealth signal that creates more overflow and abundance? I'm going to take you through that process. It's fascinating when you get it. When you get it, then you get it, right? So once you realize that, then you are now connected to the source. Now you are tapping into that infinite energy. That's why people can quantum leap. The quantum jumping process is not you moving from this state, surviving state. You are jumping through different identity of your being because you realizing who you are. And that's the whole game. Manifestation, wealth creation, attracting wealth and abundance, attracting love in your life. The whole game is around how you perceive yourself, the perception of you that creates the wealth. So this is why the universe is expressing itself through human creation. And human creation has the power of free will, right? As a human being, we are the only species who has the free will. And this is why we have free will, because universe wanted the human being to ultimately enlighten to a place where they know that they are everything within the universe. But when they are not enlightened, when they are operating from suffering and pain and surviving, when they are struggling to pay their bills, when they're stuck in business opportunity that they desire but they cannot have it, when they're wanting to launch a business but they cannot get there, when they are stuck in that survival space, they are operating from nothing. But that free will was there for human to realize, actualize, and actually awaken to understand who they are. And that's why the journey is important. The journey of realization and journey of awakening, of you knowing who you are. And this is why people who suffer, people who go through challenges and pain, who think life is happening to them, they are operating from nothingness, that I am nothing, I am no one, I don't belong, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough. But ultimately, that same person can be awakened, tap into a different version of them through the frequency to realize that they are everything. They are the energy of infinite potential. So, nothing to everything, all in existence of the being. It is all through the free will, all the choices that we make. The choices that make us go towards nothingness, or the choices we make to go towards the everything. The version of you that has the abundance, that is highly successful, that is highly enlightened, that is in loving relationship, that is living the best life, that is free, peaceful, abundant, right? It is all existing within you. So, this is why when we blame somebody else for our pain, when we say that it's that person's fault, it's the government's fault, it's those people who affected me and caused me so much pain, that cuts you off from your supply of direct connection with divine, because now you are focused on somebody else. Your energy, your frequency is focused on somebody else, that person caused me pain, that person is making me suffer. So you are completely cutting yourself off from your infinite supply of creating that abundance, that creating that wealth, that connection with divine. Because when you know your connection, your center within yourself, you realize you are the power that creates this reality. You are the one who can move mountains. You are the one who can bring life onto this planet. right? You have that power within yourself. And this is why we should never move ourselves from blaming others, complaining about others, because we are cutting ourselves off from our true nature, our divine essence, every time we do that. We must take all the responsibility and accountability in our own hand. We know that we are connected. We know, regardless of what is happening, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the pain. But most people who are suffering, they are mostly disconnected because they do not really realize their own power of wealth and abundance. This is why we must realize and recognize the power within in order to create. And I talked about it in previous videos, but ultimately, the law of cause and effect, which basically says that you are the cause for every effect. You are the cause for every effect because the way you feel is what creating the reality you are experiencing. So, this is what I'm going to talk more about in the wealth signal, and you will understand what I mean that you are the one who creating the reality. The depth of that will be clear to you by the end of this video so that you know the why things happening the way they are happening, why life is tough, because our own disconnection with our own self, and we are disconnected with our own self. That means we are disconnected with the divine essence, the light within. We are disconnected. So when we take that power back, when we come back to ourselves, that I have the power, I am the cause for every effect that I experience, then we take that responsibility within our own hand and realize that I can move into a different frequency and energy in order to create that wealth and abundance that I desire. And that wealth and abundance is created through you moving into the identity. Basically, I'm going to put it here, but basically identity equal the frequency. So the identity of you. So if you are someone who is operating from unworthiness, who thinks that a lot of bad things happened in my life. I gone through some emotional challenges. I went through difficult childhood. I went through all of that. Then you are operating from the frequency of lack, that there's something broken within me. There's something damaged. There's something broken. Therefore, I am not worthy enough. And when you are operating from that, then your frequency, your identity, which is equal, frequency equal identity. So your frequency then sending that signal in the universe that is saying that I am lacking and I am a lack, even though I want money, I want abundance, I want freedom, I want love, but I am broken, I am unworthy. So the signal that is going that I am unworthy. Therefore, the universe responds to your frequency. It does not respond to your desire. So it reads unworthiness. It reads lack. Then universe is like, okay, I'm reading lack. I'm reading that this person is lacking. Therefore, I will create experience for them that creates more lack. So that is what is happening, because universe is not responding to your prayers per se as people think. And this is why the best prayer you can do, and I will share more about that, but ultimately it's not responding to your prayer, but it's responding to your frequency. And universe doesn't judge. If you operate in lack, then it just gives you lack. If you operate in abundance, it just gives you abundance. Universe, the energy, the frequency does not judge based on, oh, lack means bad and abundance means good. It doesn't have that judgment. It's you that is physical being that is creating that, the lack. Therefore, the universe is responding to that lack. So the best prayer, the only prayer that you should be praying, or anyone should be praying, is the prayer of gratitude. That's the only prayer that we want to pray to God, to the source and divine, that I am so grateful to have what I have. I'm so grateful to be able to be fed today. I'm so grateful to be able to pay my bills. That's the only prayer that works. There's no other prayers. Like, if most people, when they pray, they ask, can you, God, can you give me this? I would love this. I would love that. God, I would love this. But that never works, because we are saying the words of, I want this, I want that, I want this, but the frequency is saying, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this. Therefore, that's what it's reading. It's like, I don't have this, therefore have more of the thing that you don't have. More of the situation that creates not having, more of the people you meet that creates your life more miserable, because they are operating from the same place of not having. And this is why the best prayers are of gratitude. God, I'm so grateful to have this. God, I'm so grateful to be able to provide for myself. I'm so grateful to be able to feed people. I'm so grateful to be able to pay my bills. I'm so grateful. Because when you operate from that gratitude, you are shifting your frequency. Then the frequency is that I have this, I have that, I have this, I have that. I'm paying my bills. I have money, I have abundance. Therefore, it is reading that energy. And when it reads that energy, it gives more of that energy. The same. It's always the same. It matches. It matches your frequency. Universe is just a mirror. It matches you in complete essence. Whatever the way you are operating, it will match it. This is why when we think about painful things, when we are operating in pain, we meet people who are in pain. This is why people have trauma bonding, because the way we are operating, that's exactly the people we are matching with. If we are operating in a lot of pain and suffering, then we attract people who will create more pain and suffering for us, right? Because it is an exact match. It's an exact frequency. And that's why, in order to create wealth, we must shift the idea of the way we operate from an identity perspective, from the everything perspective, not from nothing, but from everything. If you know universe expressing itself through you, then how would you operate? How would you wake up? How would you feel? How would you think about yourself if you knew the universe is expressing itself through you? Would you judge yourself? Would you shame yourself? Would you make yourself feel guilty? Would you think that you are not worthy? If you knew the universe is expressing itself through you, would you do that? And this is why we want to cut ourselves off from the negative narratives. We want to cut ourselves off from that, because once we understand universe is expressing itself through us, we want to make sure that we are operating from love, we are operating from joy, we are operating from abundance, we are operating from gratitude, because we want to create more of that. We want to collectively change the consciousness. To most people say that we don't want evil in the world. The only way you can remove the evil from the world is by you shifting your consciousness in that peace, in that ease, in that love. And that's how you let go of the evilness of the world. It's not talking about the evilness, it's actually moving into love, moving into gratitude, moving into peace. That's how we change the collective consciousness and awareness. You changing collective consciousness is part of you creating abundance. You create abundance through your own being. This is why frequency matters, because ultimately, on a deeper level, I'm going to talk about it in a moment, we are energy and frequency. This is who we are. That's the essence of our being. This is who we are. And if you don't believe that, then science is proving that. And you can look into that. You can Google it. You can find evidence of it, right? So now that you understand that, in order to really understand that glitch in terms of the wealth, because when we talk about the glitch in the matrix, it's like everyone is going in one way. So there's one pathway where people are going, doing the same thing and the same thing and doing the same thing, but there's someone extraordinary comes in and they change the narrative, they change the perspective, they change the way thing happen. So they are the glitch in the matrix, right? They are the one shifting the way they think. And because they are shifting the way they think, they are creating a glitch in the matrix, because everyone is vibrating on one level. They're all working, going to the job, getting stuck in the train and waiting and delaying and running and rushing and going to the work. It's like the same, the rat race, moving, moving, moving. But one person decide, no, this is not normal. This is abnormal. We are not meant to live like this. We are universe expressing itself. Therefore, I'm going to make different choices. I'm going to choose to live in abundance. I'm going to choose to live in freedom. I'm going to give myself that power and that freedom to move in a different way. So now they created a glitch in that energy and frequency. They shifted, they moved into a different vibration and frequency. So the lower frequency and energy will keep moving, but they will go beyond, they will go above in order to tap into the infinite energy, infinite potential. So that's the glitch I want you to create by shifting the way you think. And you probably thinking she's talking about all the consciousness and identity and frequency. Why is she not talking about the wealth? The reason I'm not talking about the wealth, because you are the one who creates the wealth. The wealth comes from you. So it is important for you to know who you are, the essence of your being, in order to create the wealth. Because once you're connected with that source, that divine, then the idea, the insight, the intuitive hit will come through you. It's not from the outside of you, it's through you, right? And this is why this part is extremely important for you to get it, to move from nothingness to everything, to recognizing the universe is expressing itself through you. And once you do that, that's when you create overflow of abundance, because abundance, wealth, is a byproduct of your being the way you see yourself. Because guess what? I have witnessed people who had a lot of money, but their identity was so operating in unworthiness that they sabotaged the whole money. They sabotage everything that they had. They given away everything that they had, and because they were scammed and they gone through some challenges and all of that, and the money disappeared, right? Because the identity was damaged, the identity was broken, they were feeling unworthy. Therefore, they created that scenario because they are the cause of every effect. Every human being is a cause of the effect. This is why the identity, equal frequency matters so, so, so much for you to recognize that you are the one who creates, you are the one who co-creates your life. So now you get it. Now you understand this part, because this is the essence of everything that I'm going to talk about in terms of the wealth. So in order to create that wealth signal, I'm going to talk about few things. I'm going to talk about observer effect. I'm going to talk about the manifestation hack, the actual manifestation hack that makes things effortless for you. And in order to understand your wealth signal, how do you create the glitch? How do you move the frequency towards the wealth? This is it. So what I want you to understand, that as anything that exists in the creation, in the world, anything that exists, if we break that down on a deeper level, they are all atoms. If we drill down into anything, everything becomes atom. So even the table, even the human being, even any objects, you can drill it down, and ultimately you will reach to a level that it is atom. So this is atom, this is how atom looks. So this is in everything that exists, including human being. If we go deeper into our cells, ultimately we can track that we have atoms in throughout our body, right? So, and it is important for you to know that when it comes to manifestation, when it comes to creating wealth. So when we are drilling something down and we reach that atomic level within our body, I know I'm using scientific language, but ultimately what is happening is, initially when science came, it came to only disapprove spirituality, everything. They're like, this is not true, this is not true, this is not true. Now the science has reached where they are actually proving spirituality. So we have come to the whole circle, and that's beautiful, right? So this is why it is important, because on atomic level, when you can see atoms, when you drill down into anything, on a micro level, it all atom. And each atom within, they have particles, tiny, 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 tiny particles. And those tiny, tiny particles, they are electrons. And electrons cannot be tracked because they move. Electrons are energy, ultimately. All the electrons within the atoms, they are energy, they are frequency. So they move. You cannot track them. Atoms can be tracked, but electron cannot be tracked. What happens is the electron on a deepest level, if we look into that, electron works based on the observation. So if electron are being observed, they appear, and if your observation goes somewhere else, they will disappear and they will go into infinite energy. They will disappear. And wherever the attention move, the electron will show up. So they work based on the observation of itself. I hope it making sense. I know it's a bit sciencey, but I am telling you that will make you understand manifestation. So the electron moves based on the observation. They rely on observation effect. And how it is connected to manifestation and understanding that wealth signal. So when electron move through observation, when we pay attention to something, it creates into matter. That's how matters are created. On a deepest level, on micro level, they are just energies, but on a macro level, they are objects, or they are being or human, because our body is full of electrons moving together as a matter. So what I am telling you here on a deeper level, that as we observe something, we create a matter. That's how reality works. So someone observing pain, they are observing suffering, all the energy, all the electron moving towards that to create that reality, because they are the force, the observer effect. The observer is observing certain things. This is why you are the co-creator. So if the observer is observing certain things, in terms of pain, in terms of challenge, my life is terrible, in terms of my bank account is empty, they are observing that. Therefore, they are magnifying that. Therefore, they are solidifying that. Therefore, all the forces, all the energy moving to create that reality for that observer. When the observer changes, and this is what the beauty of electron, because it's not been proven where the electrons go, because they move in infinite energy, they disappear. So when the observer shifts, they start observing wealth. They start observing abundance. They start observing hundreds and thousands of dollars coming into their bank account. They start observing and seeing that to be true. Now the energy force moving to create that into reality. Does that make sense? So that's the wealth signal for you. In order to create a wealth and abundance, you must be the observer who observes the desired reality as the truth. Because the more you observe that to be true, you are moving electrons, you are moving energy force in order to create that a matter. What is the matter? That comes into the 3D reality, that has a physical presence, that can be seen, that can be touched, that can be felt, right? So that's how you create that. You create through knowing how the energy is moving. Energy is moving through your observation. So you can observe pain, you can observe struggle, you can observe challenge, you can observe empty bank account, or you can observe filled bank account. You can observe the mansion. You can observe great business opportunities. You can observe working with most affluent people. You can observe that. And when you start observing that, that will come into matter by law. That's what we have to understand. That is the signal we are sending into the infinite energy, the quantum field. We are sending that energy by creating something that is not present in the 3D yet, but we are creating through our observer effect, through our observation. And when you do that, it happens, it collapses time. That's how you collapse time. It collapses time because your observation is what is creating whatever you're observing, right? You can observe anything you like. Whatever you're observing is being created in that exact moment. And you may not see it instantly, but 95% of manifestation happens behind the scene, 5% of manifestation when it comes into the matter, in the physical reality. So the work starts as soon as you start observing. So this is why people who believe they are sick, who believe and who are observing, oh my God, I have this sickness, I have this disease, and they keep observing that, they get sicker and sicker and sicker. Or they can change and switch. No, I am healed. I am healthy. I am whole and I'm complete. And they can observe that. And that's what they call placebo effect, right? That's how also been proven. But now I've broken it down for you on a very deeper level why that happens, because placebo effect is really about that you just imagining and visualizing that you are getting better, you are getting healthier, therefore you are having sugar pills thinking that it's healing your diseases that you may have been experiencing. And through placebo effect, people who feel that, oh yes, now I'm healthy because I've had this medicine, which is just sugar pill. It's not true medicine, it's just sugar pill, but they believe that they are having medicine and they just feel better. So that's why that works, because they are not believing, they're observing health. They're observing they are getting healthy. They're observing their disease are healing. They're observing that, therefore it heals. And that's the deeper level. And this is when I do work with my clients, or when we do the deep work, you are ultimately teaching not only body towards health, but actually creating that signal towards wealth. That signal towards wealth in order to activate that frequency of abundance. And this is how you activate the frequency of abundance, by becoming the observer of that desire to come into your reality. Be that observer. And when you be that observer, the reality will shift, manifestation will come through, the wealth will be created. So that is how you do it. And once you can really master this, you will be co-creating left and right and center. You will be moving from a very higher place. But most people cannot do it because they observe and they move towards their pain or their struggle, their challenge, plus the blocks, the barriers, and limitation they have in their body, their generational trauma, their childhood trauma, the pain and challenge that they've gone through, that is creating that story and that reality for them. And that requires deep work, that requires healing, that requires you to release all of that so that you find that lightness within. And this is why when I work with my clients, the first thing is I create that emotional freedom. Emotional freedom is the path to financial freedom. And that's what I always say, because you need to feel light within yourself. You need to feel peace within yourself. You need to let go of fear and anxiety. You need to let go of that unworthiness. You need to let go of that shame and guilt. You need to let go of all of that in order to create that lightness within yourself. And when you can create that lightness within yourself, that wealth signal, that creation of that wealth and abundance becomes easy, because now you can observe without any resistance. Now you can move there, because most people cannot do that because they constantly moving into that pain or that struggle or that resentment or that anger or that shame or that guilt, and they cannot focus on their desire. They cannot move into that place where they can just observe what they desire. They cannot move into that place. They cannot look into the full bank account because they are observing constantly their empty bank account. So that's why the deep work is required in order to shift into that wealth identity, to operate from the frequency of abundance. And this is the most deepest thing you would ever hear from anyone. And this is your manifestation hack. It's not just about visualization from a place of just thinking, but ultimately realizing who you are and observing from your being, the divine essence of your being, and observing from that, knowing that who you are, knowing your divine essence. And from that space, when you observe, you bend reality. You move things easily and effortlessly. You bring wealth and abundance easily. So, if you want to really do that, this year, 2026, is a big year for you. If you choose to heal and release and calm your nervous system and activate that frequency of wealth and abundance so that you live in ease and peace and not allow yourself to get distracted by fear and anxiety. Wealth is through you. It's not from your bosses or your business partners or people you work for. It's not from them, it's through you. You create that from yourself. I quit six-figure job because I knew the truth of wealth and abundance. I knew I'm the source that creates wealth and abundance. Therefore, I didn't want to be tapping into the vessel that is limited. I wanted infinite possibilities. I wanted to open my channel and vessel to receive infinite abundance. Therefore, I quit because six-figure wasn't enough. Because I know the potential that I have. Therefore, I want to move into that potential, and not only money, but I'll actually the impact, the community, people who are changing, transforming, and healing in my Divine Academy. They are all visionaries who are rising together in a beautiful way. And you can be part of that if you choose to, because you have the free will to choose. So if you would like that, then you can click the link below to apply for my mentoring. Other than that, let me know how that feels as I shared this with you. How does that resonate? Where did that land in your body? Really connect with yourself and really tell me, where did that land? How did that make you feel? How did you feel as I went through this process? Do you understand anything that is missing, anything that does not make sense? Let me know in the comments and I would love to respond to you. Other than that, like this video if you like this video and subscribe to my channel. And may the light in me reaches the light in you.